executive.
But the thing is that
Musk,
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you. The problem is that you have no reason to believe I'm wrong, that you would need a congressional oversight in order to do it. And what you are proposing, that the president just has the authority to do that, would be a violation of separation of powers.
No, I'm imagining the same as you're imagining.
No, but you are provably wrong. Ringold sounds like he's getting triggered. Yeah, I am triggered whenever MAGA people completely disregard the law of the land. That does trigger me. Whenever the majority of the American people voted in someone who doesn't give a fuck about the Constitution, that triggers me. You are right. Just so you know, 2, 3, 1, go. You are teacupped, which means I cannot hear you. If you're talking, I cannot hear you. You have to open the app to make sure that I can hear you. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. How's it going?
All right, so basically, so I was curious as to your position on the USAID and the audits that are going on, and why you are necessarily upset about those.
Because it feels like the procedures by which we audit the federal government are not being followed by the people that are allegedly auditing the government. So right now there's an ongoing lawsuit against the Treasury for giving Elon Musk access to the Treasury information that he did not have security clearances to access. There's a lawsuit going on against USAID for tech kind of against USAID, but against Marco Rubio and Donald Trump and the State Department for basically freezing all of the funds within USAID and effectively trying to dissolve USAID, which is a congressionally granted job. That is not the president's job. So I think the problem is, like, an audit is not bad. An audit can be good. The problem is that we're not following the legal processes by which we audit the government, or at least it doesn't seem that way.
Got it. So then, I mean, what would be the legal way to go about it? Let me, if I may, and I don't know the exact numbers, but I can give you like a couple numbers of the audit. Like there was like 20 point something million given to a TV show in a Sesame Street TV show, right? So like. So I'm sure you've seen the list, right? Because you're well learned, right? Like,
I just read the list today.
Seeing all the list of the government spending, like, how can you justify it?
So I can't justify wasteful spending. I will say that the federal government gave us very little detail about the background of that spending, saying that we spent $40,000 on a TV show. It doesn't explain how we did that.
No. It was, so I think it was 20.9 million.
However much, they didn't explain how that money is being spent. So I don't think the necessary context is there to really form an opinion on it. But on top of that, in order to dissolve USAID, you would need an act of Congress. The executive branch cannot unilaterally close an executive agency. That's not a power that's granted to him in the Constitution. That's something that is granted to Congress because they make the budgets and they authorize the executive agencies. Nor can they cancel what they call wasteful spending because, again, Congress has the power to allocate funds. So by Donald Trump trying to unilaterally do this or give Elon Musk the power to unilaterally do this, he is violating the Constitution and he is violating the separation of powers, which I think is a really important thing. There's for access to the Treasury information.
But isn't it?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sure, keep going. No, I was just going to ask. Isn't it an executive order? Like, and yeah, of course, if Congress comes back and says, "Hey, maybe this is unconstitutional," then it goes to the courts. But like, isn't it an executive order?
So yes, he authorized Elon Musk to do this via executive order, but that's not within presidential power to do. So basically he issued an executive order, but it was an illegal executive order. So, for instance, he couldn't sign an executive order to make a new law because that would be taking the power away from the legislative branch. The president has no power to legislate. He only has the power to enforce.
Yeah, but he's not. The executive order is not to get rid of USAID. It's just to audit the books and then re how do you say it? Redo it with his people
Well,
so that USAID had because I'm sure that USAID had a really nice message and it had a really good idea, but it was perverted because it was corrupt.
so the problem with
So
the problem
it's not getting rid of it.
the
It's
problem with USID
um,
the problem with what's happening with USID is, aside from the audit, the problem with what's happening with USID is that he's effectively terminating the agency by firing all of the people within it and halting all of the funding that was congressionally allocated to it. So
correct.
whenever
Yeah.
yeah, so whenever a budget is made, the president basically has to make sure that that budget is lawfully spent. By firing all of the employees and halting all of the funding to that agency, he's effectively dissolving it, which is a power that belongs to Congress, not the president.
But don't you think it's like a little bit like bizarre that a lot of that money went to like I think it was like $80 million just this last year
Again,
went to
yes,
Politico, which is
yes, I think that an audit of potential corruption or wasteful spending is important, but I think it's more important to follow the legal processes by which you find these. So the example I give is that
but
theoretically,
it is a legal process.
it is not a legal
going
process. It is not a legal process. He's being sued for it right now because of violation of separation of powers. And because Elon Musk was not legally given access to the Treasury Department's database.
But he was by executive order.
Executive order cannot grant him access to this daabase. There's procedures. There are procedures that are outlined by Congress in order for access to this classified information, and that cannot be given through executive order. By Donald Trump trying to take power away from Congress and do things that in which the powers to do it are not allocated to him, it is violating separation of powers.
What your argument is that eliminating a government organization like USAID by Donald Trump, like eliminating it, is unconstitutional.
Well, not
and
only
yes,
that,
that is
but
correct.
also,
but that's not.
but
But
also
that's not what they're doing.
No,
that's not what they're doing.
Again, let me.
They're auditing
I need to
they're
repeat
auditing
this.
it and
I need to repeat this because I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that the audit is the thing that is unconstitutional. I'm saying that Elon Musk did not have legal authority to access the Treasury Department's information, and I'm saying that the Trump administration is effectively dissolving USAID by firing all of the employees within it and freezing all of the funding that goes to it.
Yeah, and they're freezing. And is it okay if I say is it okay if I finish this thought? And you're being so kind, and I appreciate it, and I like
sure.
to have the conversation. And I'm not 100% fully versed in it either, and I think you're probably smarter on this than I am. My question is thank you. My question is that so Trump gave Musk the access, special access, right? Which the president can do, right?
No, that's the part that we're missing. Donald Trump cannot give him that authority. So there's
why and where does that? If you don't so mind, like explaining that to me.
So
why,
so he's being so the Treasury Department is being sued for this right now. They're alleging violation of the Privacy Act, in which an agency must prepare a notice in the Federal Register of the existence and character of system records when such a system is established or revised. And notice basically has to be given 30 days in advance to update the people on who has access to their information, and this was not done in relation to Elon Musk. So there's an alleged violation of the Privacy Act. So basically they did not follow all of the procedures by which someone is given the access to the federal spending information, and another alleged violation of the Internal Revenue Code, which prohibits disclosing return information to individuals other than the officers and employees of the Treasury, which I do not believe DOGE are official employees of the Treasury. So that would be two violations of the law that were done by Donald Trump to give Elon Musk access to things like tax returns or social security numbers or bank account information.
Okay, so just to be clear, you believe, or not just believe, but you are for certain because of the law that Donald Trump's two violations, right, are unconstitutional, and he's being sued for them, right?
Well, they would be illegal.
That those
not
two
necessarily
are
unconstitutional.
significantly. Hold on. They're significant. Okay, so they're not unconstitutional.
Well, not necessarily unconstitutional, but they would be illegal.
Okay, but you are also so a fraud or taking U.S. taxpayer money and funding all these other bills, you don't think is illegal?
No, that's
actually not illegal.
Yeah,
right?
that's explicitly the job of Congress.
For it.
Yeah, that's explicitly the job of Congress.
Because they voted for it, and it's and all of that corruption and money laundering and all that stuff is people voted on it, right? Like Congress voted on it. I'm sorry. Like
so when you say
like if they passed the bills.
When you say money laundering, that would be a separate thing. If there's any alleged like criminal activity,
right.
then that has to be that has to be proven. But as far as I'm aware, the budget is made by Congress or is made by the executive agencies. It's given to the president, which is handed off to Congress, which is passed by Congress, which is signed by the executive. It's not the president's job to rescind congressionally passed appropriations.
Interestingly enough, whether I believe one side is wrong and the other side is right, I actually get your point. Like, you're correct. You're right. Like, you can't prove in a court of law that any of that of funding of U.S. taxpayer dollars was actually illegal.
Yes.
And what you're trying to say is that what Trump is doing is actually illegal.
Yes. So can I give a hypothetical? Just because I think it strikes to the problem. So there can be good things that are found by bad processes. So, for instance, if we were to put a chip to where the federal government monitors everything you do through your phone, we probably wouldn't want that. That seems like a wild overstep of the boundaries that people want from their federal government. But if it found, like, let's say 30 people that were unaliving people, that's a good outcome. It's good that we found that, but we still don't want to permit the federal government to be looking at us at all time. Just like if we find some things that we consider wasteful or some things that we consider illegal, that doesn't mean that we should be breaking the law in order to find it or expanding executive powers in order to find it. There are legal processes that can be followed in order to audit the government. This was actually a very unique opportunity to follow those legal processes because it doesn't seem like almost anyone is actually interested in doing what they're doing, but they're violating the law in doing it. I'd say it's almost a noble goal to audit the government right now, but they are going through and violating almost every precedent and almost every law in order to do it.
But let me ask you this question now that I've been enlightened on exactly. I still think it's wrong, and I still have my perspective. It's just you're right. There's no way to prove it, and perhaps you know the legal system a little bit more, well, a lot more than I do. As far as, that perhaps Trump is breaking the law. I'm not convinced of that because I don't know the law, but I'll just take your word for it in this particular conversation. Mm-hmm. Why then are so many, let's just call them Democrats, I'm not sure, liberals, there could be some Republicans too that are out there. Why are so many people screaming their heads off out there against USAID?
Why are there so many against USAID?
Treasure hunt that has ever happened of corruption.
Why are so many people against USAID?
Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that this is? No. Why are so many Democrats out there screaming their heads off that Elon Musk has basically audited the USAID?
Oh,
Why?
because
Like, if you weren't doing anything wrong, why would you be so upset?
Because the Democrats are bringing up the same problems that I am. The problem isn't that he's auditing USAID. The problem is that he's doing it with no security clearance. That he doesn't have like the legal authority to do it.
But he does, though, because the president gives it to him, and the president is
the president cannot give somebody a power that he does not possess. So if the president doing it would violate separation of powers, he can't grant that power to somebody else.
All right, so if the president was doing it, then it would be okay?
No, because it violates separation of powers. So I'm saying if Donald Trump can't do it, then he can't give the power to Elon Musk to do it.
So nobody can audit USAID if they wanted to?
Somebody can.
What would be the process of auditing it?
They absolutely can. There's just certain like specific processes that you have to file.
What would be the exact audit procedure?
I would imagine that if you're trying to audit a federal agency, you would probably get congressional certification in order to do it.
You know for sure?
I don't know for sure the process. I don't know for sure the process by which you would examine a specific agency. I know the processes by which you gain access to the Treasury information, but I would imagine that if you are trying to audit a federal agency, you would probably do so with the congressional approval.
I would imagine. If we're using these kind of terms, then I would imagine that the president can just give executive order.
Well, I know you are wrong on that.
Then I would just imagine that.
No, I'm not saying I would imagine.
You just imagined.
I'm sorry.
Then I can just imagine, right?
No, because I have read the Constitution and I know a lot more about how the government functions than you do.
I'm sure that you have, and I know that you're smarter than me. I know that you are.
So when I say I would imagine, when I say I would imagine that, it's because that Congress creates these agencies. So I would imagine that Congress would be responsible for appointing some independent body to investigate these agencies.
And I would imagine that becoming the president of the United States is the highest authority that there is, and through executive order you can
no, but
I would just imagine
through executive
but
the thing is that
Musk,
I'm going to mute you. The problem is that you have no reason to believe I'm wrong, that you would need a congressional oversight in order to do it, and what you are proposing, that the president just has the authority to do that, would be a violation of separation of powers.
No, I'm imagining the same as you're imagining.
No, but you are provably wrong.
Okay.
Because if the president was able to do that, then he would be stepping. Because if the president were able to do that, it would violate separation of powers. He would be stomping on the Congress's authority.
But you can't give me an exact way to audit, USAID. You can't give it to me. So you're just imagining. Just because
I can't name the processes by which we would verify USAID or audit USAID, that doesn't mean that the way that you are proposing is legal.
No, that does not mean that. You are correct, but it also doesn't mean that you are correct either. So we're at a stalemate here.
Well, but the reasons that I'm naming for it to be illegal are correct, and you haven't proven me wrong on any of them.
I haven't proven you wrong on any of them, but you haven't proven your case other than a stalemate.
No, I literally named specific pieces of legislation that he would be violating.
You named two, but they were under your imagination.
No, they were not. Those were not under my imagination.
Okay. Give them to me one more time. I'm sorry. For the audience, actually. It's better for the audience.
He would be violating the Privacy Act, he would be violating the Internal Revenue Code, and he would be violating separation of powers.
So 3?
Separation of powers is more of like a constitutional, just like a constitutional framework. But the idea is that he would be taking power that is allocated to Congress, which the president's not allowed to do.
All right, and these are for real, 100% them.
This is what's alleged in the lawsuit. So.
Yeah, but you can say in any lawsuit you can say, hey, my grandmother ran over my dog, and it could just be a lawsuit, and it doesn't mean for beans. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but we can yes, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but we can walk through everything in the lawsuit, and you can tell me where you think you disagree or where you think none of this happened, because all of it is hyper verifiable, and we can go through the statutes as well.
I'm down. Let's go. You got it? You got it in front of you?
Yeah.
If you got it in front of you, I'm down.
It's about 19 pages.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
It'll be boring, but it might not be boring. It might be fun.
This is what I love doing.
Do you? Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. So this is the
let's go through it. So this is a lawsuit against Trump.
no against
because
the
of-
Treasury. Oh wait.
Against
Okay.
the
Wait. Hold on. No. Wait. Hold on. I
against-
pulled up. Sorry.
against
I pulled up.
Musk, right?
I pulled up the wrong lawsuit. So what lawsuit do you
Okay.
want to read? Do you want to read the one that? Do you want to read the one against the Treasury for the unauthorized access to the federal spending
So
database,
you
or do
said
you want to
there-
read the lawsuit? Or do you want to read the lawsuit which alleges like the dissolution of U.S. aid?
Yeah, that one.
Okay,
The second one. The second one.
that's the one I just read.
All right. Perfect. And I appreciate your time, by the way. And I thank you. I thank you that you're still talking to me. Most people would have hung up on me already.
I was close.
Like most people. I know you were. I know you were. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay. This action seeks declaratory and injunctive relief with respect to a series of unconstitutional and illegal actions taken by President Trump and his administration that has systematically dismantled the U.S. Agency for International Development. These actions has generated a global humanitarian crisis by abruptly halting the crucial work of U.S. aid, employees, grantees, and contractors. They have cost thousands of jobs and have imperiled U.S. national security interests. First of these actions came on January 20th, 2025, when defendant Trump issued executive order titled Reevaluating and Realigning United States Foreign Aid, directing an immediate 90-day pause in the United States foreign development assistance and assessment of programmatic efficiencies and consistencies with the United States foreign policy. Defendant State Department and Rubio then directed an immediate pause insurance of stop work orders on U.S. aid foreign assistance awards. U.S. aid grantees and contractors reeled as they were without any notice or process, constrained from carrying out their work, alleviating poverty, disease, and humanitarian crises. Yeah.
Okay, so they were given 45 days.
90 days.
Okay, so even better. So right there is one lie, right? In that lawsuit, right there, there's one lie that USAID workers were not given any notice.
No,
That's
no.
what you just said.
No, we're mistaken.
You just said that.
No, it was a 90-day pause on the funding. So it's not they were. It's not that they were given. It's not that they were given a 90-day. No, they were not given any notice.
Okay, so they were given 45 days either worth of pay or notice. Like they were just going to put a pause on it.
Where were
they
you?
were going to give
Where are you reading that?
At least I'm not reading. I actually heard it somewhere, in a podcast or something like that. So I can't verify it. So I could be wrong on that.
I believe you are wrong on that.
But so you're saying that they didn't give them any notice or any like no notice. That's what that states.
Yes.
And I believe that's wrong. Well, let's look it up. Can we look it up?
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to look up?
Because that's an important point, right? Like if the Trump administration didn't give them any notice, zero notice, and they just like pulled the wool out from under them, then yes, that's completely wrong. And I will agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay, just to be clear, this lawsuit is being done by the American Foreign Service Association and the American Federation of Government Employees. So we're already going off of testimony from government employees because that's who filed the suit.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that government employees don't lie. So let's just go by the facts.
Well, what source could you find to say that they were given 40 days in advance?
Right. So what source would you normally go to? Politico? Probably not.
Probably the American Federation for Government Employees. If they were told that they were given no advance, and this order was given 20 days ago, so if they're suing because of operations shutting down for something that happened, not 17 days ago, not even a month ago, How are they given 45 days in advance if they're already out of work and it hasn't even been 45 days?
No, but here's the thing. They put a pause on it. See, they didn't shut it down. They just put a pause on all until they could figure out where all this money that taxpayers are giving to USAID, until they could figure out where all that money was going, they put a pause on it. So they didn't shut it down. They just put a pause on it. You see what I'm saying? Now,
you're okay. So the reason there's a part that is going to immediately prove you wrong in this lawsuit, and I just need to keep reading. Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. USAID grantees and contractors reeled as they were, without any notice or process, constrained from carrying out their work, alleviating poverty, disease, and humanitarian crises. Defendant Rubio subsequently named Donald Trump as acting director of USAID, and announced that he would consult Congress with potential reorganization of the agency. Shortly after, assistance funding was frozen. Over 1,000 USAID institutional support contractors and thousands of more employees of USAID contractors or grantees were laid off or furloughed. So not only did he pause the funding, he also fired everyone within the agency.
Well, everyone is a big word.
Yeah, I'm being hyperbolic with everyone, but thousands of federal employees. So
Okay,
not only did he pause all the funding, but he also fired a fuck ton of people within the agency.
Yeah. What can we figure out exactly how many? That would be a pretty critical amount.
I imagine that we probably don't know exactly how many were fired.
But let's figure it out.
No, I'm saying I imagine that is not publicly available.
What? Oh, why would it be not publicly available?
Because we would have to collect everybody who was fired within like.
No,
keep in mind,
I'm
it's
sure
only
that
been
it's
like 10 days. I can look how many USAID employees have been terminated. USAID to keep on fewer than 300 staff as thousands placed on leave.
All right, so they're keeping some of them, right?
300 of them.
Yeah, but they're not getting rid of the entire organization. That's the whole thing. That you're saying that Trump is trying to get rid of the entire organization, and I'm saying no.
We're talking about effectively dissolving. So if you're gutting an agency to where it does nothing, then that's effectively dissolving the agency. And to be clear,
okay.
Trump and Musk don't disagree with this. Musk literally said February 3rd that he spent the previous week feeding USAID into a wood chipper. And USAID headquarters got shut down.
So can we pull that? Do you have X?
No.
You don't have X?
No.
That's where all the Discord is, bro.
I know.
But why don't you have X? That's silly.
Because I think Elon Musk is a horrible human being, and I don't want to support him.
No, but you're not supporting Elon Musk. You're just being able to have a voice on that. And I think you're smart.
Full of a bunch of robots. I'm good.
No, I think honestly, I think you'd have a really good following on there. You make really good arguments.
You don't get a following on X without paying him. You have to pay for verification in order to get any traction on X, and I'm not paying Elon Musk.
It's $8 a month, bro. Come on.
I don't want him to have any money. I want him to be broke.
It's $8, bro. I mean, how are you going to get him to be broke if you're not going to be on there, publicly discording? Anyways, this is a silly argument.
I think TikTok and YouTube is fine.
Trying to get you on that. Yeah, I mean, TikTok is okay, but like that, where pretty much all of the Discord is happening is on X. That's where you get all of the information for the most part from both sides.
I don't agree. I think if you get most of your information off of X, that's probably why you are.
No, I'm not even on it. No. I'm not even. I am on X, but like not that much. But anyway, do we want to keep reading the lawsuit, or are we bored yet?
I'm not bored, but I feel like the point was substantively
All
made.
right, all right. So you made the point. So, but would you agree that we're still at a stalemate because it's basically it's still a lawsuit. It hasn't been brought to court yet, so there's not a not guilty and there's not a
Yeah, they
guilty
haven't been
and
found guilty in a court of law, but I would say that as we do
yeah.
with every single other thing, we can take the facts that we know into consideration and come to a conclusion from there, even if it's not like proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. So, for example, like if I found $20 on the floor and you had a hole in your pocket and you tell me like, oh, you stole my $20, then and I'm holding the $20 and you're missing the $20, we don't need to take it to court in order to say I probably took the $20.
I mean, I think
So if we
to
have
be
like
honest with you,
all these federal employees saying, "Hey, I got locked out of my government account," or "Hey, headquarters just got shut down," and we have all of these executive orders basically saying the same thing, and we have all of these statutes basically saying that the president cannot usurp congressional power, and U.S. aid was established by Congress. I feel like it's fine to come to a conclusion there.
well, let me ask you this: like, how come it's been okay, like with you when I concede some points, but like you don't concede any points? Not saying that like it's justified that you should concede any points, but like
Well,
I feel like
that's why is because I don't really care about like scoring points. I don't really care about like winning like points for the DNC or whatever. I'm mostly concerned about reaching the truth, and I'm not going to concede on a point that I think I'm right on.
I know that's what I'm saying. So you're not really looking for the truth. Like I conceded on points where I
Well,
was
no,
like,
I'm
all right, that's
absolutely
valid.
looking for the
You
truth.
have a point there.
Why would I concede on a point that I don't think is false?
No, and I'm not asking you to concede on a point that you think is false. But like
Well,
I've
that's why I haven't
made
conceded on anything.
no, I totally get that. I totally understand that. So anyway, man, I appreciate your time and I appreciate that's really I mean, I don't have anything else left in my bucket.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming up. It's
And,
been a good talk. If you want to follow, you can come up again. If you want to do a little bit of reading.
come on now. Come on now.
I would
Don't
encourage
do that.
I would encourage you
Don't
read the
step on my
lawsuit.
face before I'm leaving.
No, it's okay.
Well,
I would encourage you read the lawsuit. And maybe read the Constitution, and we'll be good.
all right, brother. God bless you.
All right, love you.
All right. Bye.
He didn't say it back. What a shame.